Welcome back to Driven to Live. We're excited to have you with us this week. Huge news from Hennessey and from Shelby that we're excited to talk about today, and tons of little other stories, including one where a full-on automotive journalist, got totally bamboozled by a story that was popping up online. Where do we want to start, Jesus? How about Shelby? Shelby's got a new crazy super truck. Tell us all
Yeah,
about it.
they probably heard about the new Rumblebee coming up, so they thought we gotta top that. So you can order it already because according to this, you can already build one, but it's basically a F-150 Super Slick with a Stage 2 5-liter Coyote V8, putting out 810 horsepower, and you can order it as a single cab or a crew cab. Of course, it does say that it's going to be a very limited production, and a starting price of only $140,000 starting.
Oh,
So what do you get for that kind of money? You get the Stage 2 Coyote, you get a Bora exhaust, you get 22-inch wheels, you get coil suspension with rear traction and sway bars because you got to handle that thing somehow. And I'm assuming you're going to get like about 24,000 Shelby badges all over that truck, so people never forget exactly what kind of truck it is. I think it's a lot of money, but you know, cool for people who can afford it. It's definitely an expensive toy. And 810 horsepower, which means it's going to have more than the upcoming Rumblebee SRT that Dodge is coming out next year.
yeah. Honestly, if you're going to spend nearly 100 grand on Rumblebee, which I think it starts at like 97 or 96 or something like that,
A big one, yeah.
you clearly have a lot of disposable income in your life.
Yeah.
So
What's
why not spend a little more, get something that's a little bit more unique? And you made a great point from the very outset. You're not stuck with one particular cab configuration. You have an option here. And that's not really the case when it comes to the other two, with the Rumblebee and the TRX and the Raptor R. If I understand correctly, and I'm not a truck guy, so maybe I'm missing something, but I don't think you've got cab configuration options there. You're kind of stuck with whatever they're making, and that's it.
like even Ram was kind of quick to point that out. I was like, like they're people like, what about single cabs? Well, they know, like, I mean, they makes more money selling the crew cab, but Shelby, because it's not a major player, it's just more like a specialty. You can get, because I'm assuming it's kind of like you take it with a Hennessey or something else, where it's like, all right, you're paying for the truck, you take it to them, and then they turn it into a Shelby.
Right.
They add all the stuff, all the bits and goodies and all that kind of stuff. And
Well,
here
the
you go.
nice thing is, I believe you can. Maybe I can find it quickly here, but I believe you can actually order this through your dealer,
Mhm.
so that it's basically getting done. Uh, all of them are under warranty, is my understanding, but you can get it from the dealer rather than having to buy a truck at the dealer and then somehow get that to Shelby, and then Shelby goes from there. You can just go, hey, this is what I want to do, and Shelby will handle it through your own dealer, and then you can just drive on down the road with your $141,000 810 horsepower super truck.
Man, I would love to see one of those with a tow hitch. Just for the heck of it. They ain't got to use it, just have it.
Dude, yeah, like think about how cool it is when you see like a sports car with a tow hitch. Like it, it's really fun. And honestly, for my money, I think this is the best looking of all the super trucks. Now, granted, again, this is not a full factor. You're not getting this directly from Ford or Ram or Chevy, but I think this thing looks great. It's low to the ground. The wheels look good. The power output's awesome. Uh, the only thing missing is you can't get a stick shift.
I always laugh at these kind of Shelby trucks because they have the Baja and the Raptor and that kind of thing. It's because it's the amount of badging these trucks have.
Yeah, you're
They're
right.
everywhere. But that's part of the fun, I guess. So you want people to know you have a Shelby. Like, look, I can afford this, or at least I'm making the payments on this.
Yeah. Man, can you imagine what the insurance must be on something like that? My goodness, it'd just be insane.
Well, while we're on the subject of high end performance vehicles that are not necessarily high production models, you got a story on a new Hennessey coming out.
Yeah, let me tell you guys, if you have not been paying attention to Hennessey, you know, there's a whole lot of reasons to question cars that are not fully out yet. So just, take all of this with a grain of salt. Even Hennessey has not confirmed a few important things like how much horsepower this will make. They say they're targeting 800 to 850. That number should stand out to anybody paying attention to the hypercar market. This is what they're calling the Blackbird. And as you can see, if you're watching us on YouTube or on Instagram, it is very directly related in Hennessey's heart to the SR-71 Blackbird from Lockheed Martin. It is pretty intense. This is a pretty wild vehicle. I don't know how to describe it, Jesus. I mean, what do you think of the styling there? It's just got every scoop and every duct you could possibly imagine all over it.
Looks like a combination of, I don't know, it just took, right? What are the best things about all the modern supercars? Great. Take them all, just put them in the blender and put them all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true.
I like the rear haunches. I mean, that's pretty dynamic and bold of them. And I like that kind of like ducktail close in spoiler at the back. Is pretty cool. Like I like
Yeah.
Like if the whole goal, if the mission of this was to, hey, let's make something that's really radical and stand out, job done.
Yeah. I think you're entirely right. Yeah. So if you look at the back of this thing, those vertical strakes on the spoiler, you'll notice that they're not in every one of these pictures. It's because they are vertical stabilizers that flip up at 71 miles an hour to 71 degrees. I think it's a very unique homage to the plane. I'm not entirely certain how functional they are. But I do think they look cool. I think they objectively look very cool. I think the wheels look really cool. They're only going to make 71 of them. I'm not totally convinced on the styling in general. I think this probably has too much going on, if I'm totally honest. I do think the exhaust looks dope. The diamond exhaust looks awesome. Yeah, 100%. So this, to me, is kind of akin to like the GMA T50, like Gordon Murray's like latest and greatest spiritual successor to the McLaren. This thing is not set to break any records. That's not why this exists.
Good.
It is fully intended to be a driver's car. So it is only going to come with this manual transmission. You'll notice in the cabin,
a gated shifter in 2026. That's awesome.
You'll notice what else you don't see? Any sort of digital instrumentation whatsoever.
Screens.
No screens. No infotainment system. No digital gauge cluster. All those things are analog now. The entire point of this vehicle is to make it as analog as possible, as enjoyable from an analog position as possible. And that's why it doesn't have, 1,000 horsepower or more. That's why it doesn't have screens or any kind of crazy drive modes or, all that stuff. It's not super track focused. Hennessey talks about it like they want it to be this beautiful thing 50 years from now that you can drive and it'll be just as special then as it is now.
So, sounds like they're trying to make a Texan Pagani, essentially.
Yeah, dude, that's a great analogy. Like, look at the cabin. The cabin is 100% very Pagani-esque, very bespoke, very, lots of knurling going on. I don't know about those seats. The seats don't look especially comfortable.
It even has space for your cowboy hat. There you go.
Yeah, it has space in it for 2 checked bags for an airplane and additional storage inside the cabin. So the entire thing is,
so it leans more like, it's gonna be super fast, but it leans more to like a GT car versus just a hardcore hypercar.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I hope this is a successful car and that other manufacturers take notes. Like, look, we don't really need the fastest car. We just want a better car.
Yeah.
Like, make it pretty. It can be fast, but make it pretty and make it so we can drive it. Because none of us are gonna go to track days with this thing anyways. So make it comfortable, make it pretty, make it timeless. This 800 horsepower is way more than enough.
Yeah. I mean, most people probably can't handle 500 horsepower at the absolute limit. And, this thing is going to be pretty light. I think they said they're aiming for 3,000 pounds or less dry, which is, I think that's a funny way to put it. Because it's like, how much do you weigh without all the blood in your body? That's not my joke. Someone else said that. But yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating, fascinating car. I love that they've gone that direction of trying to change things up. 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, they say, is their goal, of course. Adaptive suspension, ABS traction control. Keep in mind, I don't know if those photos that we just looked at were legitimate photos or if they're renderings. That doesn't make a super big difference, if I'm totally honest, because Hennessey has already proven they can make production cars, so you know that this will happen. I believe they said that they have sold a third of the production run already. I could be wrong about that, so don't quote me on that, but pretty clearly they're putting themselves out there and saying we want to do more than what we have been doing. And this, they say this is a whole new direction for the brand. And I get it, like how long can you just chase the top speed record? And especially, here's the thing. Hennessey, Shelby supercars, Koenigsegg, and I feel like there's another one I'm missing. All these guys are out there just trying to hit 300 miles an hour. And yet none of them have been able to pull it off. And I think that says a whole lot that over all this time, we still haven't seen any of them do it. So
it's like because it's not just about horsepower. You got to factor in aerodynamics. You got tires. Most of the time, tires blow out before they even get near that kind of speed. Because, like, dude, you're talking about going faster than a plane at that point.
yeah,
Relax. And also, where are you gonna test that speed? Like 300 just seems like overly ambitious. Like, unless you're putting like a rocket in the back of the car, I don't think it's gonna happen.
yeah, I think it will happen sooner or later. I just don't know. I don't know when. And you're so right about like the danger factor is so high at that speed, right? Like anything can go wrong and just death almost immediately, right? Like it's just such a sketchy thing, and currently it's kind of pointless, right? There's really no like how many like if you could sell it tomorrow, how many owners are actually going to get to 250, much less 300? Most of them will piss themselves long before they get there. If you ever watched, I think it was Shelby Supercars with the Tuatara. If you ever watched their all the stuff they did, because remember they came out for a minute and said, "Oh, we did 321," and then had to pull that back because their testing equipment was totally wrong. The amount of work that goes into that kind of thing is insane. It's wild. Checking the tires, checking every little surface of the car to make sure nothing is a little bit loose or a little bit off. Like it's just.
I mean, this is kind of like back in the old days when they were trying to break speed records with steam trains. Like they reached a level where they couldn't physically go any faster because the train would just shake itself to bits.
Yeah.
Even though it could go faster, it physically couldn't.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see what they do with it. Maybe this is a whole new direction for hypercars and supercars, is just focusing entirely on how do we make it more engaging. That seems like the direction everybody is trying to go to a degree, right? Yeah. And I say, everybody's better off for it because there's, we've talked about it before. EVs are already lightning quick. What are you going to do? You're not going to beat them at the end of the day. And unless you're Koenigsegg. And even then, again, how many people are ever going to be anywhere near that kind of performance envelope? So
And I've always said, like, look, it's like 0-60 in 2 seconds, 1 second, 1.9. It sounds great on paper, but after a while, it doesn't matter. It gets old. It's a party
Yeah,
trick.
it
At the
is.
end of the oh, the risk is too much. And then he's like, even you have those vehicles, you get somebody riding shotgun, you just zip it, you gun it up, you just get that feel of woo, and then, oh, they giggle, and that's it. You're back to normal driving.
Yeah.
Because anything beyond that is just, it's pointless.
And every time you're doing it, you're risking breaking something, which, to be fair, if you got this kind of money, you don't really care. But you're risking breaking something. More importantly, you're risking safety to a huge degree because, again, not very many people can handle that kind of power. I'll tell you right now, I've launched like a 600 horsepower EV on a drag strip, and that felt sketchy, even though it's a super sticky surface and I got all-wheel drive. But as soon as you feel that thing kind of scoot laterally, you're like, whoa, okay, all right. Good reminder that I am handling, 3 Honda Civics worth of horsepower right here.
Like I was thinking about today, I think there's enough tech in cars, modern vehicles. There's enough tech. Like we've reached a point of saturation. Like you know what? We're good. This is totally fine.
Yeah.
If making more improvements, fine. But let's tone it back down and just focus on back on building a car that can go at least 200 miles an hour. I mean, at least 200 miles. What am I saying? 200,000 miles in odometer without having a massive breakage, and it's fun to drive. Because we're seeing the big problem with that, man. Modern vehicles, as fancy as technology as they are, they're not really like no one's saying, "Oh man, these modern cars are so great, they're so reliable." No one's saying that. They're saying they're fun, they're saying they're stylish, but they're not saying they're reliable. They're not saying like, "Oh, I'm going to keep this for 10 years," because it's not going to probably last for 10 years. So I'm over here like, look, stop the tech, go back to a form of the foundations of modern vehicles. Is just make it more engaging, and for the love of God, make it last just a little bit longer. We're not asking for 50 years, just 10 to 15, please. Because again, what is the in 2030? What's the used car market going to look like?
Pretty rough. Pretty rough. You know, it makes me think that companies like Slate, like that thing is way too expensive for what it is, in my opinion,
Definitely.
even though it's pretty cheap. Um, but where Slate could end up being a real hit is with the privacy crowd. Because I
Mm,
don't think it's got all that dial home stuff that everybody else does.
no.
And if you're a person who really values your privacy, but you do want like an updated EV, you don't want to drive an older vehicle, Slate could be pretty tempting because you can ride around in one of those things, and the only real computer that's talking to anything is your phone,
Yeah,
which is already talking to everything. So
that's interesting.
just something to
I
think
think,
about.
well, on the subject of EVs, let's talk about that 2027 Mercedes AMG,
Oh my
the
goodness. Yeah.
self-proclaimed shooting brake, which I don't think it is. It's
Well,
the 2027 Mercedes AMG CLA 45 4MATIC shooting brake, which is an electric super wagon with 670 horsepower, 0-60 in 3 seconds or less. It's got a range of, they're claiming, about 398 miles, which is nice, unless you're actually going to go fast in there, which probably drop down way down to like maybe 250. But I think, like they call it a shooting brake like a wagon, but I think it looks more like a squatted unit. That's just me. It doesn't look very visually appealing to me.
I mean, you're entirely right that it is not a true shooting brake. I'm trying to find a good picture of it here. Hang on.
Well, that's hard because there aren't any good pictures of that thing because it just looks terrible. The front end, the side of it looks just like an EQE 580, just squatted, just kind of something like like when you make a sandwich and you just squish it, just like oh, there you go, a smash burger.
I wonder if we hold on. Let's see what Merriam-Webster says.
I wouldn't call it a shooting brake. It's more like an estate. If you
Oh,
want
I
to go there.
totally agree. Totally agree. It's definitely not a shooting brake. Uh, maybe we're wrong.
It'd be the first.
Dictionary.com defines shooting brake as British
Mm.
station wagon.
So everyone's wrong because it's German.
Oh, Google, though. Google's got our back, brother. Hang on. Here we go. So first, for everybody watching, I'm just going to show you the definition of shooting brake according to Google. And that happens to be a shooting brake is a car style that combines a two-door sports coupe body with an extended station wagon roof. That is evidently from Kelley Blue Book itself. So it's not just Google saying that. It's also Kelley Blue Book. And then this is the all-new AMG CLA 45 shooting brake. No, definitely not, because it has 4 doors. It has 4 doors. Sorry, it's got too many doors.
Too many doors and a face only a mother could love, man.
Yeah, it is pretty ugly. I don't fully grasp what they're trying to do with the front end anymore. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I know what they're trying to do is they're trying to go after like they had some AMG XXXXT or whatever concept a couple years back, and like that's the same nose. It's just ugly.
I don't know. It looks like a singing bass to me. And I can't, and I'm pretty sure they're going to want a lot of money for it too.
I mean, do they ever not want a ton of money for AMG stuff?
What I'm surprised at, because I mean, I've seen stories where dealers are struggling to sell the EQE line of Mercedes-Benz because people don't want them. They depreciate like crazy, and they're not as engaging as some of the other vehicles. The fact that AMG is kind of like doubling down on this, like, you know what? I know those aren't selling, but what about this? Something that's even more expensive, but it's quicker. Okay, but they're all kind of quick because they're all electric vehicles to begin with. But to see, I think dealers are gonna have a hard time moving this. And I don't see why.
I just wish they would change the name. I don't know if they're going to struggle to sell it. I mean, it's an AMG. They'll probably do okay. I just wish they would call it something else. And frankly, like, look at those wheels and tell me they don't kind of, in your brain, make more sense on an Audi.
I just wish AMG went back to making dangerous V8s again.
Yeah, dude, that was a good time, man. They were like the German muscle car builder for a while there. The AMG C63, like 600 horsepower in the size of a shoebox. It was insane.
All their Black Series cars, I mean, those are fantastic.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Yeah, they didn't really go that fast on a turn because they were so ludicrously powerful, but that was kind of the fun of it.
Yeah.
You want a car that's kind of scary.
Yes, absolutely. And the C63 was absolutely scary. Even the E63 was really cool. More manageable, but still very cool. All right, on to other vehicles that have annoyed us this week. The Audi SQ9, which is Audi's largest SUV, and can cost up to $120,000.
Yeah, that's for the V8 one.
And oh boy, you know what? From this angle, that looks like a Porsche Cayenne.
Yeah. From the back, it looks pretty good. It's the front end that I have a real problem with because it looks like it was designed by an orthodontist. It's just a massive grille with braces.
Boom! Slanty little eyes. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Infiniti QX80.
Or a Hyundai Kona.
Oh, we are never going to get invited to an Audi program now. Hilariously, I think my very first actual program was Audi. It was the RS3, and it was awesome. I still kind of low key want an RS3.
I mean, it's just look at the proportions from the front end, the hood line to the grille. It's enormous.
It is very big. It is very big. And again, from the back, oh, honestly, you know what? That angle,
that's great. Very
gives
nice.
a little, but it gives a little Kia Telluride to me. Like, not a ton necessarily, but there's some Kia Telluride right there. And no shock that it looks like the Cayenne because it's built on the same chassis. Oh my God, the front end is just so freaking gigantic. Like,
What
But
I tell you is like that. You could cook an entire cow on that grill.
yeah, hey, it's gonna stand out, dude. People are gonna know what it is when it rolls by. I mean, that's all that's all they care about a lot of times lately. What did they? My cohort,
Well, look, check it out. So
the upright
basically,
nose is dominated by a huge distinctive grill treatment with vertical bars and a black surround that spreads out outward like an evil Joker smile. Okay.
Joker smile. That's more like a Camaro, but definitely looks like a pinstripe suit that a mafia type would wear. So the standard Q9 has a twin turbo V6 making 429 horsepower, which is decent. That one starts at 90,000. But if you want the V8, which gives you 591 horsepower, twin turbo V8, and seats for seven, that starts at 119 and change, so 120,000 dollars. But interesting enough, this thing will tow over 7,000 pounds.
You complain about that? That's pretty serious.
So you can tow your, I don't know, your Audi race car behind you. So track day.
I mean, too many screens, but if you're gonna, if you had to do screens across the whole dash, I think it looks pretty solid. It's not perfect, but it looks pretty solid. I think those second row seats look awesome.
Yeah, they look like business class seats.
They do. You might as well be in a first class jet in the second row here. I don't know about access to the third row, but like, who kind of cares? It's gonna be little kids back there most of the time. Man, that is just so chunky. That grill is just.
And I do like their new hazard lights, where they kind of paint the floor as they're going.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. I do like that.
Don't get me wrong. I think from a tech standpoint, it's awesome.
Mhm.
Nothing to complain about. That grill is just massive. That's all.
Just shrink it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Or make the bigger.
Yeah. What do we got? What do we got left, bro? We've talked about the big stuff. All the big stuff's out of the way at this point.
Well,
oh, the Bronco. I forgot the Bronco.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Bronco video. That viral Bronco video, which I'm sure people watching, listening have seen it already or have scrolled past it already because it did blow up this week. Or I should say last week because this goes on Monday. So basically, there's this guy, just a POV, walking around a white Broncos, claiming that it shut off in the middle of the road, and he's claiming that it was disabled by Ford because he missed a payment, which I think he claimed it was the first payment. And I thought it was suspicious because I'm like, well, look, even if they're gonna do that, which I just dropped a comment, which I usually don't comment on these kind of things because then you get 10,000 notifications of people commenting on your comment. And I'm like, I don't care about that. But essentially, what I wrote was like, look, if they shut it down, that means they're tracking it with GPS, and if they know where you are, why would they shut it down in traffic and risk a ginormous lawsuit, potential injury, crashes, all that kind of stuff? So I'm like, look, I mean, considering it's a brand new vehicle, it could have been that it just broke down because it tends to have mishaps and everything. So, and I got a bunch of comments saying like, that typical Ford falling on road dead, which in this case lived up to that moniker. But what we're surprised at is that people are they believe this. Why people just believe that, oh, wow, Ford can just disable your vehicle in traffic. And no, it's not really the case. Because why would they? That's too much of a liability, too much of a risk. People can, if they're going to shut it down, if they could, it would be when you're parked somewhere.
And let's be clear. Here's the deal. There's so many levels to this story that are a good reminder that you should really think hard about everything you see online. This guy openly admits, basically, outside of this social media post, that it's fake, that it's all fake, that he's not being serious about it all. It's just to get likes and attention, which is ridiculous. It's so stupid.
Pathetic.
It is pathetic. You're absolutely right. And when you really think about it, even if he hadn't admitted that, break that down further. You already mentioned the safety liability there, which is a gigantic issue, right? But then stack on top of that other things. Ford's finances are not affected by this guy missing all his payments. They are not connected to his money whatsoever. That's the dealer. So if anybody could shut it down, it would be the dealer. But here's the kicker. The dealer doesn't have access to just push out whatever software update they personally feel like to an individual vehicle. That's not a thing that exists currently. On top of that, I don't know for a fact, but I'm not entirely certain that Ford could just disable a single Bronco remotely if they tried to, unless it was signed up for Ford's anti-theft stuff. So it's like there's so many levels to this that don't make any sense, but people just gobbled it up. And then I saw one lady arguing with you saying, no, it's not fake because Tesla has killed a lot of people with its full self-driving. And I could not help myself but jump into that and be like, you're talking to a professional, first of all, so best come correct. And also, Tesla has nothing to do with this.
No, Broncos are not self-driving. Here's your point. Neither are Teslas.
There you go. Neither are Teslas. Man, did you see that crash last month? The person that that killed the lady who like drove into the house and killed her?
Yes, saw that.
And he was like, oh, I was on full self-driving. And then police were like, oh, no. He had his foot down the entire time.
Which is shocking. Like, guys, you do know that all these vehicles have systems that can track exactly how fast you're going, whether you're stepping on the gas or the brake, whether you were steering at the moment of impact. Like, they got all the computer. All these cars have like their own little black box that tells you everything you were doing prior to the accident.
Yeah, this is such an insane story. And, you know, again, the central lesson here, everybody, just pay attention. Pay attention to what you're reading and watching, because it's not real. A lot of it is just totally fake. It's just for clicks. You know, dig in to be totally sure.
I can't believe that kind of mindset. Oh, I know what'll give me attention. I'm going to pretend that Ford shut down my Bronco, but in order to do that, I'm going to park it in traffic and then walk around it and act outraged. Like, how much do you not want to have dinner with that person?
Yeah, it bugs the heck out of me.
But, you know, another story we can talk about briefly, because I thought it was very interesting, is this is a one-off concept car from GR. It is a GR Camry with 7 cylinders. And the way they did it was it's got dual engines. Basically, it's got a 3-cylinder 1.6 engine at the front, making 300 horsepower, and it's got a 4-cylinder 2-liter, making 400 horsepower in the trunk. Combined, 700 horsepower. And I think it's pretty gnarly. And if you find it on social media or YouTube, it sounds almost like an alien spaceship. I thought it was pretty neat.
Yeah, we might be able to play. Let's see. Hold on, I'm going to reshare my screen to make sure that we get the audio from it. So if you're not able to watch, at least you should be able to hear this. Let me mute myself.
So that car, there's just one engine. No, it's 2 kind of combined. And oddly enough, this is not the first time someone's done it before. In the 60s, Oldsmobile built several cars like this. It was the Hearst Harry Oldsmobile in 1966. That one it was basically a 442, and they had 2 big block V8s, one in the front, one in the back, and both of them could be operated simultaneously or one at a time, and you had twin sticks to operate automatic transmissions for both of them. So you had 2 transmissions, 2 engines, and these for drag racing. Wild machines. It had a 442 and a Tornado doing that, because it was kind of like to show off their front wheel drive, which was brand new at the time. So like, hey, how do you represent and show off that you can have big block V8s with front wheel drive? Take a drag racing. So you had a V in the front, V in the back, twin sticks, crazy stuff.
Love that stuff, man. Like, go out there and do some crazy stuff. It never hurts. You know, like, this is getting attention, even though it's obviously never going to be a production car.
Oh, that's pretty cool. It's kind of like cool, yeah, because essentially it's a Camry with no trunk space. So there's an engine in there. Kind of defeats the purpose of a Camry, but I think it's pretty interesting. And right now, like I said, what I'm driving this week, which is the third year in a row that I'm driving it, and I still like it, the 2026 Buick Envista ST, a car that some people have referred to as the poor man's Lamborghini Urus, and I don't see it. To me, I just look at the front end. I just see Iron Man's helmet in the front. But I do like this vehicle. I had it parked next to the Chevy Trax, which is kind of built on the same platform. Chevy Trax look wider than this.
Yeah.
But I like this. This is just like this is a decent car for people that just want a car that's easy to drive, not overly complicated, has room for a small family and plenty of trunk space, and doesn't take a lot of space, and costs well under $40,000. This is about as decent as it gets in 2026. I like it. It's just across the board very nice.
Yeah, I agree. I think the I think the money makes sense. The fuel economy is solid. The build quality is solid. Uh, it's really hard to come up with any reason to not get this if this is your price bracket and this is the kind of vehicle that you want. Having driven the track several times, it's a fantastic car for the money. And even like I think I could be a little bit off on this because it's been a year or so since I've driven one, but if I remember right, like you can fully kit out a Trax and still get out of there for under like 28.
Yeah,
And that's like every single little thing you could possibly add to it, including I believe you used to be able to get Super Cruise on it. You might still be able to. And that's crazy good technology for what it is for the money.
yeah. So the Vista that I'm driving is mid range, which is a sport touring, which is not the thing, but sport touring's fine because it's got cruise control, it's got lane assist, it's automatic, it's got nice seats, it's got a head-up display if you need it. Like it's totally fine. If you can get past the idea of you having a small SUV, it's great because it's the same size as like a traditional hatchback. It's just a bit taller. We get that crossover SUV thing, which means you
Yeah.
don't have to squat down to get inside of it. You just open the door and just slide right in. So it's very ergonomic in that aspect.
I think I'm wrong about the Super Cruise thing after doing a brief search. I don't think Super Cruise is available on it. But still, you still get fully adaptive cruise control with lane centering and all that good stuff, which is still pretty solid for the price point.
And I guess it's a Buick, which I have no idea if it has any sort of like clout as a brand these days, but it's comfortable.
Yeah, I would say it's comfortable. I don't know if it has clout. I think it probably doesn't, personally, but we're not going to know for a few years because sooner, you know, there have been analysts out there who have gotten in real hot water because they say that Buick is probably going to be dead in a few years because really they don't sell very much, and their price points are way too comparable to Chevrolet. It's like why have two brands if you're just going to build the same thing and price it the same way, basically. It's like they're
Well,
just barely stepped up from Chevy.
well, there's rumors that they're going to bring out the Regal with a somewhat large midsize sedan with rear-wheel drive, and I'm like, if you do that, that's what you need. You need something different. It
We've
can't
talked
just
about
be
it on the pod.
yeah, it can't just be little SUVs. Your Buick, give us something that's worth showing off.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And I even put it in a Car Scoop story recently, even though I know Chevy is going to put the new uh, the new CT5 on the Alpha 2 platform and probably do the same thing with whatever Buick might come out of it. But like, I still don't understand why not just use the current CT5 platform for Buick and for Chevrolet, keep the monies, keep the savings of, economies of scale there. And then at that point, the new Cadillac CT5 becomes even more desirable because it's on the new bespoke, like fancy chassis compared to the older ones. So,
And that's the way it used to be. Cadillac was its own thing. It was
yep,
a
yep,
level above Pontiacs, Buicks, Oldsmobiles, Chevrolets. They all kind of share the same thing, but then Cadillac had its own division, building their own engines, everything else. That's the way it used to be. Like, yeah, they all share similar platforms, but they all had their own divisions, building their own stuff to make each car just a little bit more unique. Somewhere along the way, that kind of just went away, and now it's just like, oh, same thing, just different badging, different styling. Like, yeah, but then why am I paying more for this? It's the same thing as this.
Yeah. All right, bro. Anything else we should chat about before we get out of here?
What are you driving?
So I just got done with the GMC Yukon Denali Ultimate, which is too many names, in my opinion. It was really good. I was actually really surprised with it. You know me, I really don't like big SUVs and big trucks. They're just not my bag. They're not my thing. But having the Suburban, the Chevy Suburban about a month ago, and specifically the Suburban being the long wheelbase. So if you were going to get it from GMC, it would be the Yukon XL. You could tell that the normal Yukon, which is the Tahoe for Chevy, drives way better. It's way sharper because the wheelbase is shorter. The whole car weighs less, and it's just a better driving vehicle. And in terms of luxury, I mean, over the moon. Would I have it over the Jeep Grand Wagoneer? Still no. I think Grand Wagoneer, way better entry into the third row. The entry into the third row was utter garbage for this Yukon. But that's because the second row has massaging seats. So they give up third row access ease for a more luxurious second row. And I think, honestly, if you're the kind of person who's going to spend that kind of money on a vehicle, you're probably not putting little kids in it everywhere. You're probably trying to transport teenagers or other adults, or you're buying it as a chauffeur vehicle for a business. And in those cases, it makes a ton of sense. So, yep. But it was $111,000. The Wagoneer I had, I think, was hovered right around there, and it was a better vehicle in every way. It felt more special. It felt better. It didn't. The Denali felt like it was trying too hard. So, yeah. Wow. And then what do you have now? What'd you get?
Yeah, the little Buick Vista.
Oh, the Buick. That's right.
Which I'm excited for, because compared to that big diesel that I had last week, that I was just nervous about filling it up. This is.
It's going to be a dramatically different driving experience.
Yeah, both on me and my wallet.
Yeah, no joke. All right. Well, that'll do it for us, everybody. We appreciate you being with us. Stick around. If you're watching the new and somewhat exclusive behind the scenes, if you have not picked that up, check it out on YouTube. And we'll have some other aspects that you can watch it on as well. Check us out on Instagram, Driven to Live. We're working on building out the platform over time. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what cars you're into, what you want to know about. We can have an entire show just full of listener questions, and tell you all about our jobs and how this job works out and what we do in it. We do super appreciate your time with us. So thanks so much.